Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. I am Investor Boynes with the details. President of the SVG Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, in responding to a comment made by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, has dismissed claims that the union's demands were not made in writing. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on Sunday said that the SVG-TU has not submitted any formal request outlining their demands to the Office of the Prime Minister or the Minister of Education. However, Robinson, in an interview with SVG-TV News, says the union has written a two-page letter to the Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves dated January 11, 2022, outlining their demands for the reinstatement of the teachers who were dismissed from their jobs as a result of the government's vaccination policy. The union head further adds that the letter was also carbon copied to the cabinet ministers.
This letter captioned the issue of the SRNO number 21, SRNO 2021, number 28, concerning the COVID-19 mandatory vaccination policy and the dismissal of workers. In paragraph 6, and I'll read what paragraph 6, the latter part refers to the action. It says, this action in our view represents a historical wrong against public servants by your government. Prime Minister, we urge you and your cabinet to right this historic wrong by repealing SRNO 2021 number 28 and reinstating all dismissed public servants with their benefits intact. The same as the Nigerian Teachers Union, the Public Service Union, and the Police Welfare Association, we have been consistently asking for repealing the law and to reinstate workers. So for the Prime Minister to say we never wrote to him, that is incorrect.
Robinson accused the Prime Minister of launching attacks against the Teachers Union.
And this is another attack on the union. You're trying to mash up the union. You're trying to attack the leadership of the organization. In fact, you are on record of telling the workers not to listen to their unions. But yet, you want the same unions to write to you. Also, you have said that you don't employ people. So why do you want to write us to ask? Why do you want the union to write to you if the responsibility of employment reside with the Service Commission?
Robinson also notes ways in which the Service Commission's department continues to discriminate against some of the unvaccinated dismissed teachers.
So what has happened thus far is that the Service Commission would have sent out letters to some teachers. Here again is discrimination. You fired all these amount of workers, but you only a few persons receiving letters to say apply. So what we have done, our lawyers would have written to the government lawyer and the lawyer for the Public Service Commission requesting this contract. Because in that request for application, there's a line that says that some people will be permanent, some people may be permanent, and some may be on contract, right?
Yeah.
So we want to see that contract. We're interested in the contract so that we could advise our members accordingly. We have also coined a letter which each individual those who have received letters or not, because we want to ensure that everybody is covered, respond to the Service Commission, outlining issues. For example, they never resign, they have worked up to a certain point.
The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has collected $120 million in taxes on goods and services for the period ending July 31st, 2022. A summary of the fiscal operations of government was provided by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves while speaking on radio today. He says the amount collected is a 10% increase when compared to the same period last year.
Taxes on goods and services this year is $120 million up to the end of July, compared to $108 million last year. And taxes on goods and services include things like value-added tax, the domestic VAT, excise duty on imports, insurance premium tax, motor vehicle license, yachting license, merchant shipping fees, interest levy paid by the banks. But the main items there really is value-added tax, domestic value-added tax, and the excise duties, both on imports and on domestic transactions. So we've seen a rise in taxes on goods and services, as I said, up by 10% over last year. Taxes on international trade, up by 22% compared to last year, from $81.9 million to just over $100 million.
PM Gonzalez adds there has been a decrease in the total revenue and grants for this year in comparison to the same period last year.
Total revenue and grants last year, the end of July, was $427 million. Revenue and grants for the comparable period this year is down $386 million. So you see that there's a substantial fall off, nearly 10%, but it has to do really with the fall off with the extent of grants. But when you deal with current revenue alone, we are up 0.2% over last year, 381.9 compared to 382.7 this year. Now, we are a little ahead of what we expected the revenue to have been at this time. We're about 4% ahead of what our target would have been at the end of July. We are targeted by the end of July that we'd have collected about 368 million. We are at 382.7. But as I say, just about 0.2% above last year.
Title sponsor for the Gekko Miss SVG Community Project has sounded their faith in the success of the initiative. Chief Executive Officer of Gekko, Rohan Stowe, says the organization has always been a leader in sponsoring national and cultural events. However, recent financial shocks has forced them to make changes with the projects they contribute to. He was speaking at the recent launch of the Community Project, which will see 8 contestants conduct projects on a variety of themes, including education, sports, health, entrepreneurship, disability, and building community spirit. Stowe says he is confident the various projects will have a positive impact on local communities.
The leading financial institution in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have always been on the cusp of change and pushing the boundaries to deliver transformative projects, transformative ideas that could improve the lives of our members and the communities in which they reside. And we thought, and you can see from the diverse areas that the delegates are going to be, the diverse set of projects that I think are going to really have an impact in the communities in which they're implemented, and maybe offer a national solution for us to address some of the issues and that would have been identified. We are confident that if implemented and executed as conceptualized, this project, I mean, and the project as a whole and the subcomponents, will help Gekko to expand its social justice fight beyond individual needs to that of the wider community. The projects will raise awareness about real social ills plaguing Vincentian communities. However, it doesn't stop there. It also purports to provide workable solutions for resolving them.
Stowe says Gekko made the decision to sponsor the project as they believe in the goals and objectives.
I think from the first time the project came across my desk, even without consulting with our marketing department, and they always tend to have the final say, it had actually excited me. I didn't tell Danielle anything at the time, because she always said, Mr. Stowe, you don't like spend. But luckily, I asked her to give her view, and she was in agreement that it was a really good initiative for us to at least participate in the Miss SVG pageant, as we've done over the years. And as was said, we would have sponsored directly a delegate. We thought this one offered much more value for money, and we went straight ahead. It was sealed when we had the presentation from Ms. Brown, who did an excellent presentation all by herself. We had a very good discussion. We liked the goals. We liked the arrangement that were put in place to ensure the project was properly managed and executed. And we said, fine, we're on board. We didn't even have a debate about the quantum. So she did an excellent job in presenting the project.
Chairman of the Beauty Shows Committee, Avia Charles, has pledged to broaden the reach of the inaugural Miss SVG Community Project. In her remarks at the project launch on Monday, Charles says the committee intends to make the project a staple feature of the Miss SVG show in the future.
It is our hope that these objectives will be achieved through the 8 projects. And whilst community development is an ongoing effort, it is also our hope that the impact these 8 projects will have will motivate continuity in communities that they touch. Notably, when we speak of communities, we do not refer to a specific geographic location, but we've widened it to include groups that require assistance. And although for this year, we may not cover all areas or the entire of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, know that this project will become a staple in the Miss SVG pageant, and over the next years, we will cover the entire of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Charles explains the project was designed to achieve a number of objectives, including building a spirit of volunteerism and community outreach.
The Gekko Miss SVG Community Service Project is the first of its kind in relation to the depth of work, engagement, and outcomes that will be required from the projects each contestant must implement. Our theme, Empower, Engender, Community Development, is a guide and a reflection of the project's objectives, which are 1. Engender a spirit of volunteerism and outreach that will help to build stronger communities. Motivate people to work for the betterment of humanity. 3. Awaken the consciousness of contestants and persons in the community on various projects that can be completed to uplift communities. And 4. Make people aware of various problems in a community.
Members of the public are being urged not to take shortcuts when it comes to building and construction, and to follow the proper procedures set out by the physical planning units. This from Chief Engineer in the unit, Desmond Pompey, who spoke on hurricane preparedness during NBC Radio's face-to-face program. Pompey stresses the importance of applying for permission from the physical planning unit, adding the unit needs to ensure that developments are being done in line with established building code.
While I don't have the data in front of me as to with respect to how we suffer during hurricanes and inclement weather systems, excessive rain, and so on and so forth, the data is there. Each year we have to ask, or we have to be looking for support, to respond to the damages. Each year we have to do damage assessment and so on. So the building regulation is important to ensure that we have structures and infrastructure that have that resilience, so we don't have to put in scarce resources into reconstruction after each annual event. And we have the annual event, so that is the essence of it. It keeps lives in order. You don't have to go through when you lose a home, when you lose a roof, the kind of stress that is. And it reduces all of that, remove all of that, and not only stress on the individual, stress on the community, and stress on the economy as well. The entire nation feel it.
Pompey acknowledges the frustrations the public has experienced when submitting applications to the physical planning unit as a result of long wait times. He explains when applications have missing or incorrect documents, the process is delayed.
This is 12 weeks. I think 12 weeks is 3 months. I'm subject to correct, but I think it's 3 months that the board takes to make a decision. Public complaint that the board may take too long, or physical planning may take too long. That is because usually there's a reset on their application, and the way this reset comes about is when we are going through our technical review process, if the drawings or the application lacks, then we ask for revisions so that you would meet the guidelines and the building code and so forth. And what happens there is that the time it takes, sometimes some designers take up to a year to provide these revisions.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, not to put designers on, not to throw them under the bus, but these are the facts. And the clock is reset. Because if you make a submission on the 12th, for example, and we ask you for a revision, and you bring in the revision the 12th, the next year, the same month, then the clock starts there.
After 6 weeks of personal development and fun, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Coast Guard Service Youth Development Summer Program 2022 came to a close on August 20th. Giving an overview of the 2022 Coast Guard Summer Program, Petty Officer Franklin outlined the different subject areas the group took part in.
Started the official opening, then went right into the subject areas. These vibrant young participants have partaken in subject areas such as navigation, boat handling, knots and splices, safety at sea, swimming, nutrition, and good citizen. They were also exposed to fisheries conservation, which they had the opportunity to do some hands-on fishing, and thanks to the fisheries department for that insight. Along, they also did human sexuality, substance abuse prevention, social and professional etiquette, and other important and interesting subject areas. However, from their feedback, boat handling and the picnic to Beckway were the highlights of the program. The first phase had 50 participants, while phase 2 was occupied with 60 participants, and the third phase came in with 43. And overall, 150 participants for this year's summer program, which bumped the total number of participants to an approximate 3,700 since the inception of the program in 1993.
Over 100 participants benefited from this year's summer program, which commenced on July 11th. Franklin says he hopes the knowledge imparted will go a long way in their personal development.
Now, I can say that this is another 153 new person I had the privilege to meet, and I must say it was a pleasure. We had promised the participants that the program will be excited and they will enjoy it. So in this light, I would like to challenge any one of the participants to say otherwise. But that must be done on class on Monday. That was a joke. But I hope that we lived up to our words and deliver what we promised to you. So we delivered. What we delivered, we trust that it was well received and will be applied someday in your life, except for survival at sea. I hope no one of you will ever have to experience such an ordeal. It is really a pleasure being a part of such a program because touching life in a positive way really matters.
The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force is providing youth with necessary skills to face challenges in life. This comes from Commissioner of Police Colin John as he addressed the closing ceremony of the SVG Coast Guard Summer Program on Saturday. John says the summer program and other initiatives implemented by the force are positively influencing the youth of the island.
In terms of studying your books, the challenges from bullying, the challenges for preparing for a life of war. So we in the Coast Guard, we are making a deliberate effort to equip you with the necessary skills so that when that time comes, you are in a better position, or you should be, based on your acceptance or rejection of it, in a better position to handle these challenges and successfully surmount life high seas, or successfully surmount the challenges that you would, and I emphasize would because it's inevitable that you would meet challenges. You have no control generally over the challenges that you will meet. You have control over how you would deal with them. And the best way to deal with them is to be prepared. So we are giving you the necessary tools and necessary skills so that when these challenges arise, you will be able to handle them in a very effective and efficient manner.
With the program coming to an end, the Commissioner of Police encourages the youth to put what they were taught into practice.
Youth that we can prevent from going into a life of crime. It's one person that we save, it's one person that we are ensuring that less work on the police, less resources to effect arrests, less resources have to be used up in prison. So you are given the good opportunity to ensure that you embark on a proper life, and please grab it with both hands. We also have the police band summer program, we have the police youth clubs, we have the DARE program. These are programs that are deliberately targeting young people to ensure that crime in St. Vincent and Grenadines and in the region is reduced, because we're not only talking, the reason why we have a Coast Guard is not only to protect our borders, but to ensure that the region, and you might even say the world, is safe.